No, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Sheryl Swoopes said no one wants to play in Indiana. She said veterans avoid the fever, that Kelsey Mitchell felt unappreciated, that Caitlin Clark couldn't carry a franchise. But what just happened in training camp completely destroys that narrative. Kelsey Mitchell didn't just respond, she dismantled everything Swoopes claimed, with receipts. In a bold new interview, Mitchell exposed the truth. Veterans are lining up to join Indiana. The culture is stronger than ever. And yes, Caitlin Clark is part of the reason why. The chemistry, off the charts. The energy, different. The trust, real. And what Mitchell revealed about her relationship with Clark will have Swoopes backtracking fast. This isn't just a response, it's a reputation collapse. Because when you see how united this team really is, you'll realize the WNBA's biggest critic just became its most misinformed voice. And the Fever, they just became the league's most dangerous team. When Sheryl Swoopes went on her podcast and said players didn't want to be in Indiana, it sent a shockwave through the WNBA world.
There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some new shit going on around there.
It's a lot. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
She didn't just imply tension, she named names. According to Swoopes, even Kelsey Mitchell was unhappy. But now, that entire claim has blown up in her face.
And here's where I think they didn't do a very good job, and that was with Kelsey Mitchell, who's an unrestricted free agent, because Kelsey Mitchell had a hell of a season this season. And I don't think she got the credit that she deserved.
Kelsey Mitchell didn't stay silent. She sat down for her first major interview since training camp opened. And she was glowing. Not defensive, not careful, just brutally honest and proud. She described the new atmosphere as fresh, comparing it to pulling warm clothes straight out of the dryer.
I think for us, with the new atmosphere, new coaching, everything is just absolutely new. It feels really good. It feels fresh. It's kind of like when you take your clothes out the dryer, kind of like fresh. It feels different, and it feels good because we have new leadership, we got new players, we got vet leadership, and so I think all that combined just makes for a good atmosphere right now. It feels good.
That doesn't sound like someone unhappy. That sounds like someone relieved. And her message was simple. This team is different now. She didn't sugarcoat last year. She admitted it didn't feel right. The energy was off. The culture wasn't clicking. But this year, it's already better.
It makes it easier. I remember this time last year, it didn't feel good. So we have to get that in order first, in order for people to start playing well. It's like a domino effect. But I think once your culture is kind of established, how you guys see it now, I think it makes everything else way easier. I don't know if that makes sense, but way easier. It makes sense.
The coaching, the leadership, the vibe, all of it has changed. Mitchell emphasized how players feel wanted, valued, and motivated. That alone directly contradicts Swoopes' claim that no one wants to play in Indiana. In fact, Mitchell went a step further. She said, everyone wants to be here. She said it clearly. She said it with confidence. And she made it clear this wasn't just lip service.
I think the best part right now is everyone wants to be here. You know, it's really downplayed. It sounds cliche, but it's nothing like being where you want it and everybody feels value in order to go have a good training camp, have a good preseason, so you can have a good first game when the season starts. But I think right now it's just that good feeling of everybody feel like, hey, I want to be here and I want to compete. So I think that's the first step.
This wasn't a player saying what PR told her to say. This was an experienced veteran choosing to double down on her commitment to the franchise. Swoopes also tried to paint the Fever as a team without direction, but Mitchell couldn't stop talking about how different it feels now that Coach Stephanie White has taken over. She highlighted how players are being treated like individuals, not pieces on a board, and that new leadership is exactly what they needed.
I have nothing but great things to say about Stephanie. From the time I was in China playing and her trying to get me back here, and the leadership that she took to make sure I felt welcome and felt safe coming back and playing under her. She's done an unbelievable job with all of us one by one and making sure we all feel different but in a good way. And I think with her leadership along with the assistant coaches, we've already cultivated how we want to play, and so that already feels good as a player coming from Stephanie.
It's also telling that Mitchell, an unrestricted free agent, chose to return to Indiana this offseason. She had every opportunity to leave. She didn't. Instead, she re-signed with a team that, according to Swoopes, no one wanted to touch. That decision says more than any podcast clip ever could. So why does this matter? Because Kelsey Mitchell isn't just another player. She's the heartbeat of the Fever. And if she believes in the new direction, it sends a message, not just to fans, but to the rest of the league. Therefore, when Swoopes tried to paint a picture of dysfunction, Mitchell's interview didn't just refute it, it buried it. When Sheryl Swoopes questioned whether veterans like Kelsey Mitchell could coexist with a media magnet like Caitlin Clark, she was playing into an old narrative. The rookie star comes in, and the vets roll their eyes. But that assumption just got torched. Kelsey Mitchell didn't just tolerate Caitlin Clark, she celebrated her. In the same interview where she tore down Swoopes' narrative, Mitchell lit up when asked about Clark.
It actually doesn't feel different. From the moment I met Caitlin and the moment she met me, like I said, when you respect your teammates and respect as competitors, it makes for a better relationship, it makes for a better dynamic, and I think that me and C-Square established that 2 years ago now. So I think everything with us is gonna always be kosher and really put together because we've already established who we were as people and as players and how we can help make each other better. So it feels good to me already.
There was no hesitation, no passive-aggressive remarks, just mutual respect and honest praise. She called Caitlin's strength underrated. She broke down Clark's skip passes, her ability to change angles mid-play, her timing. Mitchell didn't talk like someone watching a rookie. She talked like someone learning from a peer. Mitchell said it plainly, Caitlin makes her better.
I think that strength, for one, is always, from a physical standpoint, her strength and her ability to now make plays that people don't think about. Whether it's that skip to skip, I mean, you know, a person of her caliber, it seems small, but it's gonna make her go from having 25 to having 28, or 10 assists to 12 assists. So, for one, her strength, and then after that, professional, learning, you know, watching film, you know, knowing what you need, and I think that's gonna take time for her specifically, but the rest is for her is already in the bag. I think strength is always gonna be a main thing for her.
This is coming from a veteran who's averaged nearly 20 points per game for years, and she's openly praising the basketball IQ of someone in just her second season. And it wasn't just compliments, it was clarity.
Oh, girl, C-Square, she's keep, you know, I think she does a really great job of, like, you know, I think Caitlin specifically is a household name, and I think that she's going to continue to, you know, bring in the arena and kind of like put us in a position to have all the fans in the world. So, I mean, I obviously hats off to her, but, you know, I give her grace because it's a lot to take on. I think she's done a really good job with it.
Mitchell explained how their styles complement each other. Clark's court vision opens driving lanes. Her range stretches the defense. Her presence makes life easier for scorers like Mitchell because now defenders can't load up on one threat. But what made this moment hit hardest was what Mitchell revealed about their personal relationship. "We built our chemistry 2 years ago," Mitchell said.
And C-Square established that 2 years ago now. So I think everything with us is gonna always be kosher and really put together because we've already established who we were as people and as players and how we can help make each other better. So it feels good to me already.
That's right. Before Clark ever played a WNBA minute, she and Mitchell had already connected through mutual respect, competition, and conversation.
Up-tempo, fast. Obviously, you know how me, C-Square, all those guys are. But I think when we cultivate DB and your older ones in it, I think we're gonna have more of a winning culture and not just playing fast. So now we get the best of both worlds. Culture. And I think once you establish the respect in the room, the environment is always is value with that. I think those days that are tough that you do have to give grace for, it's respect behind it. We don't expect perfection right now, but we do expect discipline and we expect hard work. So if we could cultivate that and then give ourselves some grace, when it's time to go win games, I think we will.
That off-court bond is now becoming their on-court weapon. They talk, they teach, they challenge each other, and they do it without ego. Mitchell was crystal clear about this. No one is trying to be the alpha. Everyone is trying to listen, lead, and build something that lasts.
I think that mix of leadership that we have from your DBs, so Tosh Howard and Sid, it's gonna help ease things out based on the people that's coming around to see us. But I also think that it do help us. Let me say this: before we got here a month ago, we were all coming in. We would come from our respective homes to establish that already. So I think that 5, we've established that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It might have been open run, it might have just working out, but we've already kickstarted how we want to play in here so we can do it here.
And if you're still clinging to the idea that Clark's stardom is creating resentment, this interview should end that myth forever. Therefore, when Mitchell, the very player Swoopes accused of being unhappy, goes out of her way to uplift Caitlin Clark as a teammate, it doesn't just prove they're aligned. It proves Swoopes couldn't have been more wrong.
WNBA MVPs in your career, would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
Man, I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
And when a veteran like Mitchell welcomes a rising star like Clark with open arms and calls it fun, competitive, and refreshing, it tells you one thing. This locker room isn't divided, it's unified, and it's dangerous. Sheryl Swoopes claimed no one wanted to play in Indiana. She said the culture was broken, that stars were uneasy, that veterans stayed away.
No, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
But everything we've seen and everything we've heard says the opposite. Kelsey Mitchell stayed. DeWanna Bonner signed. Natasha Howard joined. Sydney Colson brought championship DNA. And Brianna Turner, who many thought would clash with Caitlin Clark, is instead running flawless sets with her and embracing the challenge. These women aren't avoiding the fever, they're flocking to it. Why? Because for the first time in years, Indiana isn't just rebuilding, it's believing. And that belief is centered around 3 people: Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark, and Coach Stephanie White.
Well, I think the biggest benefit, obviously there's the aspect of having a new coach and a lot of new teammates. So in that regard, it's still a learning process and trying to figure your teammates out and figure out the new system. But the pace and the physicality and all of that, you're used to it, you're ready for it, you're ready for at the speed of how things are going to move. I think that having that under your belt is kind of what's helped me the most here. But at the same time, it's a learning process for all of us. There's most of the team here and most of the girls here are new players. So and the ones that have come back, new coach, we're just trying to learn in the same way and build relationships with our teammates. So similar in that regard, but at the same time, having a year under my belt is really helpful.
Mitchell is no longer carrying the franchise alone. She's playing freely, leading confidently, and mentoring without pressure. Clark isn't walking in with ego. She's walking in with vision, and it's contagious.
That was my biggest focus in the offseason, is just trying to get stronger and really working on that. And really thankful for Sarah, our strength and conditioning coach, put in a lot of time with me. And we were in here consistently. I think that was the biggest thing for myself, is just having that consistency to be able to work on it for 6 months or whatever it was. So I certainly feel a lot stronger, and I'm a pretty self-aware person. I knew that was going to be a huge part of it, and it's going to help me offensively, it's going to help me defensively, it's going to help me not get as tired throughout games. So yeah, definitely one of the focus points of my off season is just getting stronger, and even through these 2 practices, I can certainly feel it.
Coach White, she's giving this team its identity, built on accountability, versatility, and culture. Not hype, not marketing, just results. And maybe that's what's most threatening to someone like Sheryl Swoopes. Because if this Fever team really is for real, if Mitchell and Clark really are aligned, it means the WNBA isn't just changing. It means it's evolving without permission from the old guard. Swoopes tried to frame Clark's rise as a media stunt.
When everybody else, they're quick to throw stats, right? It's oh, well, this is what she did. Somebody's oh, Sheryl Swoopes only scored 34 points in the WNBA. Caitlin scored 35. So you can't use stats when it benefits you.
She tried to question the respect inside the locker room. She tried to divide the team with outdated narratives. But she missed the most important part. This isn't about attention. This is about alignment. Mitchell and Clark trust each other. That trust is growing into chemistry. That chemistry is turning into momentum. And that momentum, it's starting to look like a problem for every other team in the league. So now the question becomes, what happens when the most criticized rookie and the most underrated vet finally get the backing they deserve? What happens when your biggest critics turn out to be your greatest motivators? And what happens when a team the media dismissed, the one Sheryl Swoopes said players were running from, becomes the one everyone else is running toward? Because if Mitchell, Clark, and the Fever were supposed to fall apart under pressure, why do they look more unified than ever? That's not just a redemption arc. That's a revolution.
Oh, no! Not again! Angel Reese three-pointer! Bang!
Angel Reese said it herself. They're not just watching one player, they're watching because of me too.
If I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Watching because of me too! Caitlin Clark could never make that pass. Bang!
But after what just went viral, that statement might not hold up much longer. Angel dropped a quick 9-second workout clip.
Angel Reese has put out footage of her working out in the gym. It's just a few seconds, like 9 seconds. Now, remember, Angel Reese has said to us that people are not just watching basketball for one player, they're watching because of me too.
And the internet had questions. Sloppy footwork, awkward jumpers, no real structure. It looked more like a TikTok teaser than a pro athlete's prep.
Angel Reese, back in the gym, working on her pull-up, bang. Working on her midi, working on her mid-range game, 15 to 17 feet out, being able to create some space for herself. Yes, this looks embarrassingly slow. No, it is not in slow motion. This is just what we have to work with right now.
Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever quietly released full-length, unfiltered practice footage.
Okay, timing, setting and using screens, communication on the defensive end, coverage on the defensive end, and then when we make mistakes, we gotta play through it.
And it wasn't just Caitlin Clark lighting it up. Rookies like Michaela Timpson and Bree Hall were locking in, catching lobs, running elite sets, and showing they're built for the league.
Take a look at the hour workout right here. Let's take a look at the workouts. You've got Aaliyah Boston immediately going and talking with Michaela Timpson. Immediately. And there is Yvonne Ejim and Bree Hall. So the three of them are here. So running the pick and roll, which hopefully they do run a bit of. Ejim, open layup. Okay, Bree Hall with some post work. Spot up shooting. In fairness, that is what Bree Hall, if she does make the team, is going to do. Oh. Did we just see that? Obviously, there is the pick and roll. But did we just see the athletic Michaela Timpson? She just caught a lob. She's out here catching lobs in this workout footage.
So here's the question. Is Angel Reese building a basketball legacy or just a personal brand? What you're about to see may change everything. The WNBA is no longer just about who scores the most points. It's about who's serious and who's just pretending. And right now, Angel Reese is under the microscope.
Oh, no! Not again! Angel Reese three-pointers! Bang! Every three-point shot missed by Reese right here. Bang!
Watching because of me too.
Caitlin Clark could never make that pass. Bang! Build a campfire around her. Look at all that space. Bang! Pump fake. Got him. Free play. Aaron Rodgers. Bang, bang! You'll never see a less enthused teammate than Cardoso on the bench. No confidence in Reese. Look at this. Casually. She's dead. Dead! They say the safest place to be when a nuclear missile goes off is next to Angel Reese's jump shot. Because nobody's around. Bang! I mean, the disrespect here. She gets the ball, the defender retreats to the paint. Almost went in. Bang. Man, social distancing in 2024 is crazy. COVID was 4 years ago. Bang! They said free tees for Angel Reese's threes. Everybody's shirtless. Bang! How she got to the All-Star game? Who knows? Did she hit a three? Hell no. Bang!
It all started with that 9-second video. Angel, alone in a gym, casually hoisting up a few jumpers. But instead of inspiring confidence, it sparked doubt. Her shot form was off. Her footwork looked lazy. And there was no coach, no structure, and no intensity. It felt like a last-minute PR move.
We got some footage from in the lab. That's right, she's in the damn gym. I'm just gonna keep it real. I guess hell has frozen over, but she is in the gym practicing shots. And as you can imagine, there's real reaction to this.
Meanwhile, across the league, Indiana Fever rookies were putting in work, and it wasn't staged. This wasn't some flashy, edited montage with mood lighting. It was real. An uncut look at Caitlin Clark, Michaela Timpson, Bree Hall, and Yvonne Ejim, sweating, grinding, communicating. Their chemistry, instant. Their effort, unmistakable. The contrast couldn't be clearer. While Angel's video felt like an Instagram reel chasing engagement, the Fever's practice tape looked like a blueprint for a championship team.
By Bree Hall, again, near 40% shooter. She's catching lobs. All up midi from Yvonne Ejim. Bree Hall to the basket, but yeah. So Caitlin Clark working. Are they all working as rollers? You never know. Maybe some guard-to-guard screen roll actions are going to be happening.
Caitlin Clark didn't just show up. She was setting tempo, dropping dimes, running advanced sets like she'd been with the team for years. Her court vision was unmatched, threading passes through defenders like it was nothing. She wasn't playing for the camera, she was playing to win. And the rookies. Michaela Timpson was catching lobs. Bree Hall was knocking down shots. Yvonne Ejim was finishing at the rim with power. These weren't gimmicks. They were proving they belonged in the league. But the real shock came when fans zoomed in on Angel Reese's shooting mechanics.
One person to beat. Tough.
Okay, that's all we get to see. 9 seconds. And in these 9 seconds, we can see that there's some work to be done.
Her guide hand, the one that's supposed to keep her form steady, was crossing her face like she was dabbing mid-shot. Her elbows flared out wide. Her wrist snapped inwards. It looked more like someone swatting a fly than a player aiming for a bucket.
So I want you to just take a look at her form. I'm going to go back just a little bit. All right, so this arm here, this is her left arm. I'm right-handed, you know, so when I demonstrate something, it's gonna be the opposite for me because I'm right-handed. But you can see this arm right here is pretty good. The shooting arm, which would be her left arm, I always say it's kind of like a waiter carrying a tray. The off arm, which is really supposed to guide the other one, is a problem. As you can see, it totally covers her face. It's crossed over her face, which is odd.
In the WNBA, these mistakes don't go unnoticed. Bad habits get punished. And in Angel's case, no one around her seemed willing to fix them.
And then her palm is facing her on the inside, which is kind of weird. I don't know how you do that. So it's crossed over her face, over her eyes, as you can see. And this is here, and it's like this on the ball. Like I said, it's the reverse because she's left-handed, but it's just an odd way to shoot the basketball with her elbow all the way out here.
In the background of her clip, a trainer's voice can be heard calling her shots tough, but not one correction was made. That's a problem, a big one, because here's the truth. The WNBA doesn't care about hype. It cares about results.
What you're doing in your workout is important, but I gotta say this, who's working with you is also important. I don't know who the young man is working with Angel. I don't know if he's a part of the Sky organization or not. My guess is he's not. My hope is he's not, because there are things that need to be corrected, and instead I'm hearing him give like the nod, giving the praise to what she's doing.
You can't dance your way past a locked-in defender. You can't influencer your way to a playoff berth. And when the season gets real, when the legs are tired and the lights are bright, only one thing matters: fundamentals. Therefore, when Angel shows up to training camp with the same flaws she had in college, it raises a serious question. Is she being trained to succeed or just to stay famous? At the same time, Caitlin and her squad are proving they're not here to play around. Every drill has purpose. Every rep has meaning. There's leadership. There's trust. There's grit.
But Timpson still goes up and grabs. There's another defender there. You know what? Never doubt the real point guard. Never doubt that. If you're throwing it too much towards the left hand, there is another defender coming in here. So never doubt Caitlin Clark. That's bad by me. But a good catch. A very, very good catch. Getting it down, butting it back up. A very solid catch.
And while Angel's clip might rack up views, views don't win games. fundamentals do. So now we're left with two very different paths. On one side, you've got Angel Reese, a media darling, a walking headline, and a self-declared face of the league. She's charismatic, she's marketable, and she knows how to grab attention. But behind the likes and the endorsements, there's a growing concern. Is she actually improving as a basketball player? Every time she steps on the court, she's still dragging her pivot foot. Her shot mechanics haven't changed. Her body control is inconsistent. And most alarmingly, her coaching staff doesn't seem to be correcting any of it. Instead of sharpening her tools, Angel seems to be polishing her image. But in the WNBA, image fades fast. On the other side, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever rookies. No flash, no filters, just raw, relentless work. Michaela Timpson is catching lobs like a seasoned vet. Bree Hall is knocking down spot-up threes with near 40% accuracy. Yvonne Ejim is muscling through defenders with pro-level physicality. And Caitlin, she's doing what she's always done, making everyone around her better. At just 22 years old, she's already acting like a floor general. She's pulling teammates aside, calling out switches, leading fast breaks, and most importantly, holding herself accountable. That's leadership. That's what the WNBA needs. There's a reason Indiana isn't worried about flashy social media moments, because they're focused on banners, not billboards. They're building chemistry, building trust, and building a team that can go the distance. Meanwhile, Angel's clip may have been 9 seconds, but it exposed years of bad habits. So what happens next? Will Angel double down on the glitz and glamour, or will she finally get serious and fix the flaws that could cost her a long-term career? Because right now, every second she spends curating her brand is another second Caitlin Clark spends crafting a legacy. It's not about who has the bigger following, it's about who's ready for war when the whistle blows. And when the fourth quarter hits, when the game is tied, when the cameras are off. Only one thing will matter: who put in the work? Because in this league, there's no hiding. You either evolve or you get exposed. Therefore, while Angel might be the star of the internet, Caitlin and the Indiana Fever rookies are preparing to be the stars of the season. The difference? One side is chasing content, the other is chasing championships. And when the lights are the brightest, we'll all find out who's ready to shine and who's just playing pretend.